It is Super Bowl weekend. Get ready, get ready, get ready. We got Coach J, we got me, we got Bang, Bang, not a game. Ready to play in the Super Bowl. The question 6 is on the way from my end, but we may have some pushback from Coach J. Here we go. Let's go. Raw mind, raw thoughts on the way.
You're on time to talk sports with Raw Mind. Game day, who plays with updates of all kinds. From press box to sideline. Who got cut, who got signed. Who's clutch when it's crunch time. The starting lineup or the pine. These athletes compete, some without even trying. You want a championship, you gotta grind. When them bright lights shine, and this game go 9, they gon' cover the story, not quite like Ryan. Exclusive interviews, dudes plug like Mike Line. He's got the inside scoop of why, who got fined. Prime time, got the game statistics. I could say, if you wasn't at the game, you missed it. But now Raw Mind Sports covers the distance. Front row, that's close like a coach's assistant. You wanna be in the know? Eyes open and listen. This is Raw Mind Sports, another edition.
Mind Sports, I'm your host, Ryan Jones Sr. Ryan Jr.'s on the way. Well, he's not on the way, but he's here. We got Coach J here. Coach J's been a busy man. Coach J, how you doing?
Hey, blessed, man. Prime, blessed to have you, have me on the show, man. It's great to be here, man. And we got some great ball coming up this weekend. How you doing, man?
You already know. And we got the Super Bowl up. We have so many opinions, raw thoughts on the way. So we'll start here, man. Couldn't get it out, but Super Cam, Mr. 2015 quarterback, MVP, played in the Super Bowl against the Broncos. He has some raw thoughts about Brock Purdy, but we're gonna chime in to that right now.
Number one pick, MVP, All-Pro, Cam Newton. I've been doing the show for a long time. You finally come on. It is so good to have you, sir.
It's good to see you, bro.
Welcome to Vegas.
Yes.
The fresh hat, we're into it. All right, let's dive into this because you're making a lot of noise with this Purdy game manager take. Do you trust him on a game-winning drive in the Super Bowl?
I trust his resources.
Woo!
Good answer.
I trust Debo. I trust George Kittle. I trust Christian McCaffrey. Brandon Ayuk. I trust those guys.
Yeah.
And as he has those at his disposal, so yeah. So it's that. I think it's no hate. It's no, you can't corner that narrative of, he's bitter, he sounds this, he's out. It's not that. It's
you
when
sure?
I think about the 49ers, it's a loaded team. And
They
did
are.
he ask for that? No. But he's been playing lights out football, something that a lot of people have took notice to, and he's in this position because he has been playing great ball. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to take this conversation and I'm going to hand it over to Shannon and Doggy, but I want to say this on national television.
Mad Dog.
As a show, personally, personally, I owe you an apology. We owe you an apology, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because whether we agree or disagree with your synopsis, your dissection of Brock Purdy and whether he's a game manager as opposed to a game changer or anything like that, what it deteriorated into was people questioning whether you had the right to say it.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. This is our show. This is Raw Mind, Raw Thoughts, Raw Sports, Raw Mind Sports. How do you feel about that, Jim? Coach J?
Prime. He ended by saying, people are saying whether Cam's got the right to say that. Listen, Prime. Cam was one of the top tier quarterbacks in the league for years. He was a legitimate guy. Before he went to New England, if he didn't go to New England, I think he still would have been a quarterback in this league right now. New England did not fit him. It was a spread system. He's a power run guy that's predicated out the run, play action type of guy, throw down the middle of the field, quick reads down the field. But he has all legitimate rights to say anything about quarterbacks. He was a quarterback in the league. If anybody knows anything about quarterback, it's a quarterback. It's like you having an offensive lineman out there saying, hey, or a tennis player saying, hey, man, that's not a great quarterback. Quarterback knows quarterback. if anybody's going to talk about anybody, it's going to be a quarterback, and it's going to be possibly a guy like this who can still play in the league right now. Don't get me wrong, this guy still got some gas in the tank. He just ain't got the right money, you know.
Right.
And Derek said Brick is the elite quarterback, you know. But
he was saying Brock basically.
Brock, yeah. Brock is a he's a legitimate quarterback, but I you know what Cam said, there's some legitimacy to that. His team right now, he correctly said Brock, he has some of the best elite weapons around him in the league, you know. And Brock Purdy, I mean, he's won some games in the playoffs now. This is the big game right there. If he wins this game this Sunday, it's going to be in Brock. And if he wins it with his arm, you know, 300 plus yards, you know, limit the interceptions, I think then we can say in Brock, we can trust. But we got to see that on the big stage. He's got to show up. Now, if he comes in, throw multiple interceptions, now the narrative is, did they make the right decision, right? You know, Trey Lance or some of the other guys, did they make the right decision? But hey, you know, it's to be seen. I legitimately think Super Cam, he's on to something here, you know, right now, because, you know, we got to completely unproven quarterback. But Brock Purdy is no slaps now. We've seen it all year long. He can make every throw on the field. He is a legitimate quarterback. And yes, MVP for CMC.
Yeah, the bounce definitely. Guy.
He's gonna be
so with that being said, I want to go into this. Like, we've seen quarterbacks, we've seen guys make plays. Even if it Brock Purdy throws with his arm, my perspective to you, my raw thoughts to you, Coach Jay, do you still consider him as the MVP, or you come to what Cam was saying, like he has playmakers around him? Do you put that on the playmakers, or do you put that on Brock making those throws?
I mean, at the end of the day, if you throw for you know, whatever 1,000 yards and you're the top passer in the league, you deserve something. You know, there are a lot of guys in the league that do have a lot of weapons and still don't throw for a lot of yards, or still don't be at the top of the league. You know, you can have the best guys. You still gotta, as a quarterback, you still got to get the ball to them, right? Offensive line got to protect, they got to hold up. You've got to scheme at some point. I mean, you can have the best guys on the field, but if you don't scheme, you still can lose all your games, right? But it's a lot to go into it. Brock Purdy, legitimate quarterback. I think that yeah, he can be. It still would be relevant depending on, no matter who he has on the squad, and he's got some guys loaded. And people always going to say, the narrative is always going to say, well, he's got so many guys around him. He's got Kittle. He's got, yeah, Brock. He does not get enough respect. He does not get enough. You know, Mr. Irrelevant. You think about that, Prime. How many guys you know at the end of the draft like that can lead their team to a Super Bowl like this?
Right. I agree.
Know? I mean, he's got a lot on his shoulder, huge chips on his shoulder. You know, and if he wins this game right here, I'm ready for a payday for this guy.
So for me, like, I get that, and you're right. And Cam saying the manager, but like Donovan McNabb came on today, like watching through another network, not necessarily the particular network. He was like, all quarterbacks are game managers, but you have that guy who can be great game breaker. Like Tom Brady can have the terrible throws all year. My dad would say Eli can be terrible the entire game, but have that one drive, because he's a New York guy, New York Knicks, Yankees, outside of Carolina. He was like, you know, this guy can make that drive. So for Brock Purdy, can he make necessary throws? I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you why I'm asking this, because Jimmy Garoppolo got to the Super Bowl in the NFC Championship, handing off the ball to Raheem Mostert, but the throw he needed to make was not there. So people, media, everybody saying like Kyle Shanahan get anybody to the Super Bowl. The question is, can the quarterback throw them to victory? And that did not happen, because it was up 2010 and 2020. I said a restaurant, shout out to Church Street Tampa Deli. Shout out to Essential Collections on this episode right now. You know, use promo code RawMind. Use promo code RawMind. You get a 15% discount. 20% discount. So that didn't happen. So, like, can Brock Purdy overachieve more with his arm than the Kyle Shanahan offense? Because the Kyle Shanahan offense shows it can work on one end, but that's where it goes. Oh, I saw him breathing. Ladies and gentlemen, we heard Coach Jay hit the breath. He had to breathe for a minute. Make sure he
listen. Brock Purdy versus Garoppolo. I mean, that's a whole different story. Honestly, I think Brock Purdy is a better quarterback. I mean, he can seriously make every single throw on the field. It's just that right now they're not completely leaning on him, right? They've got CMC in the backfield. And I think at some point, if they do lean on him, if they need to lean on him, he can make the throws, right? The issue with him is if they start baiting him, will he be a turnover guy? If he's gonna, how would he protect the ball? But yeah, 3-4 years down the road from now, I think he's gonna have a payday and he's gonna be one of those top tier quarterbacks out there.
So for me, all right. So raw thoughts. You seen Cam yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You also seen Colin Kaepernick. Those guys made plays with their own legs and their ability to make it happen.
Yeah.
Can't and we seen Kyle Shanahan's offense make it look good because they was up 28-3 with Matt Ryan as a non-mobile quarterback, which I think Brock Purdy is more mobile. And raw thoughts, people can hate, like me, love you, whatever, over Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy was more mobile than Matt Ryan. He probably wasn't the more. I think he was accurate, but you know how that goes. So my thing was Colin Kaepernick for you, non-biasly, or Cam Newton, because Colin Kaepernick had a lot of weapons with him in 2012, 2013 to like get him where he's at. Your choice, Cam or Colin Kaepernick.
If I had to pick between the two, and now I'll go back and look at the years where Kaepernick was beasting, and you think about, you had Russell Wilson on one side, Colin Kaepernick over here, and at that time Kaepernick has the higher upside, right? And Russell was really kind of finding his way, and then after a year or so, Russ really started elevating. With that said, I would take Kaepernick. He has a very strong arm. He's a solid passer. He's mobile, but the difference between him and Cam is I don't like Cam's throwing motion, right? I feel like he throws a lot of darts. He doesn't do a lot of put a lot of air on the ball. He doesn't have a lot of touch on his ball. And when you think about being a quarterback, you have to be able to switch it up. You got to be able to throw that dart. You've got to be able to have some touch. And you also got to be an anticipatory guy who can throw guys open even if they're not open, right? But Cam is a guy, hey, if that receiver's open, I'm going to get the ball to him. He's not going to be throwing guys open, right? But he will throw in coverage, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I'll take Kaepernick.
Oh man. Wow, Panther. Oh man.
Hey, so sometimes you got to go against your guy, man.
Oh, no doubt. And this episode right here we go. Sponsored by Ainsley Construction. Ainsley Construction, they fix everything, all properties, Edgecombe County, Eastern North Carolina. I was just at an event that they just fixed with Taps on Main Street, Tarboro, North Carolina, where they did an amazing job. So here we go. I'm about to move this piece right here really quick. And hold on a second. I got one more piece to move. Hold on a second for the fans.
Oh yeah, Brock's legs will be a factor in that game. I think so. Just as Derek said, man, I feel like there's gonna be some opportunities out there. You think about the secondary, they bring pressure. They get some easy lanes on the edge. I think he'll take some opportunities down the field.
So that being said, we got Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's man or boo thing, and then we got George Kittle. from what The Rock says in wrestling, the people's tight end. So, like, how you feel about this matchup against those two opponents? They're, Kansas City defense versus George Kittle. And do you have the San Francisco 49ers versus Travis Kelce?
I like how the media always says quarterback versus quarterback and tight end versus tight end. These guys ain't never going to be on the field versus anybody.
Correct.
You think about Kittle. I mean, who's going to have the worst? Who's going to have the hardest, matchup, this weekend? It sure ain't going to be Kelce. It's going to be Kittle. Kittle's going to be going against that Kansas City defense, which they got so many dudes that can match up against him. Kelce going to have a field day. I mean, that secondary
field day.
Yeah. He's going to be running around playing. I mean, listen, Prime.
Go ahead.
49ers defense, secondary, their passing wise is like middle of the pack.
Whew.
Now the rest of the guys it don't even matter who they put against those other guys, defensive back wise, they'll be able to, to stay with those guys. But versus Kelce, he gonna get his.
So raw thoughts. I agree with that, and I get that. So I ain't knocking nothing against Kelce. The two tight ends, the comparisons, where I'm going is like Travis Kelce is made to catch the football. George Kittle is made to block and run.
Yeah.
So has more of a versatile role. I think with the pass rush of the San Francisco 49ers, they have Patrick Mahomes, Dipsy dude running around for his life. But of course, if the ball gets out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, 10 times out of 10, he's trying to look for Kelce. If Kelce's not the option, with the situation of the fact that they had a lot of situations with incomplete passes all year, and it was cool. Everybody said like they had all that all year, the most drops all season, and apparently they found their way in Baltimore to catch all the passes, right? So I get that. But this is Super Bowl.
I don't know how.
Do you really think Patrick Mahomes going to trust those guys in the Super Bowl outside of Kelce? What they put a double team on Kelce and dare Patrick Mahomes to run? And the 49ers defense has been so disciplined, so they know how to hit up, down, low, whatever, to make it happen. I'm not questioning Travis Kelce, because Travis Kelce is good in the offensive end. But if they need to run the ball, can you depend on Travis Kelce to get a 4th and 1? Can he make that right block on a 4th and 1 like George Kittle can do?
I think so.
We'll see. But we know if we choose the utility players or the skill players, who would you rather have? The 49ers skill players or the Kansas City Chiefs skill players?
When we say skill players, does that include the quarterback?
Correct. It's everything. I'm talking about wide receiver, tight end, running backs.
Quarterback. Okay, now that changes
running back.
Because if we didn't include quarterbacks,
wide receivers.
If we didn't include quarterbacks, I'm going with San Francisco.
So you saying if we include quarterbacks outside the skill play, you're still going with San Francisco?
No, wait.
Kansas City. You saying including quarterbacks, skill players? I'm assuming that you're saying that Patrick Mahomes, skill player wise, which of course he is dynamic.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm talking about the overall skill set: running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. You're saying it sounds like you're trying to say like, okay, without Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to go with San Francisco. But since I included the quarterback position, you're saying, okay, I think the Kansas City Chiefs have better skill players than the San Francisco.
No. I wouldn't say they have better. I would say that now they would be an option. Now, without Patrick Mahomes in this equation, I ain't no way I'm picking Kansas City. I mean, who's the only guy is Kelce. I mean, you look at it's this juggernauts on the other side. I don't even care if it's Brock Purdy. You can put Ken Dorsey over there as a quarterback. I mean, we still going. I mean, shoot. But Niners.
I didn't spell it wrong. That wasn't me. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Yeah, that was it. It's Kelce. So, like, all right. So for me, right, I gotta find the next topic, so we're gonna go to that. If I can find it, okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. San Francisco 49ers this season,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, sponsored by Advanced Auto Parts. Here, live and
Advanced
well.
Auto Parts.
That's right. That's right. We have the 2014 49ers 8-8, 2015 49ers 5-11, 2002 and 14 49ers 2016, which allowed those draft
Barn
picks.
burner.
Yeah, 6-10. Then you have 4-12. Then we have the
Mm.
2019 49ers who, got us over the hump, got to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
The 6-10 team was more of a COVID year. Last year,
Had a hump.
no, it was last year. The year before, they had a dig dunk pass, almost got to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
49ers almost got to the Super Bowl. Then we have the 13-4 season. Man. And that was the Brock Purdy hurt season. Then we had the 12-5 49ers of this season. So,
Mm-hmm.
for me, I'm looking at all these teams, all these years. Sponsored by Essential Collection by Monochrist. Sponsored by Essential Collection by Monochrist. Use promo code RAWMIND. Use promo code RAWMIND. Get 15% discount. How do you evaluate the San Francisco 49ers since 2014 to now? Do they evolve? Do they go somewhere? Because, 2016, 14, 15, 16 was different coaches each and every year. I think, shoot. Okay, hold on. 8-8, that was Jim Harbaugh year, which he ended up, which I thought was a bad decision. But, hey, we're here now. It is what it is. He's with the Chargers, LA Chargers. I never thought about him leaving because he was fine. Then we get Jim Tomsula. The next year. Then we get Chip. Raw thoughts, I can't even remember who ran these teams. All right. Jim Harbaugh. Jim Tomsula. 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 3 years. I got to figure out who the coaches are that year. And even though I'm a diehard 49er fan, I'm still trying to figure out, who ran those teams those years. So, and that's where my guy, Coach Jay, is coming in. 2015 head coach, 2016 head coach, 2017. And if that's the truth, if we got Chip Kelly there for those last 2 years, oh my God. And this where you come in at.
I got you. I got you.
My raw thoughts. One thing about our show, we don't script now, we don't plan now. We're gonna come with the real. So I know 2014 was Jim Harbaugh. I know the next season, 2015 was Jim Tomsula. And this is me thinking off the head. This is not me taking those stats because my guy, Coach Jay, is pulling up the stats. 2014, Jim Harbaugh. 2015 was Jim Tomsula. 2016 is Chip Kelly.
Yep.
I don't know what happens to this. Did Chip Kelly stay around for 2 years or what?
Oh, Chip Kelly was 1 year. 1 year and out.
Oh, excuse me. Apologize. Forgive me. He was 1 year and out. Kyle Shanahan has the rest of those years because I assumed that he's rebuilding. It all made sense now. Okay, so 2015, Jim Tomsula. 15 Jim Tomsula. 2016, Chip Kelly. 2017 to now is what it is. So that means we seen the piece, which I want to say raw thoughts is privilege because of the 49ers, because of what privilege is, because of Mike Shanahan. So 2017, they'll say hey, okay, cool. The first year, Kyle Shanahan, his daddy was here, so he understands the system. 18, 19. You know what? You're right. Because, Kyle Shanahan didn't make no draft picks. He didn't make no moves. So 2017, 18 was all Kyle Shanahan. But he was racking up draft picks. So go ahead with what you got to say, if you got anything to say about it.
What I wanted to kind of really point out about this is that as you can see by looking at the chart this year, statistically, the Niners, this is pretty much their best year. You think about third down and fourth down percentage, this is their best year in fourth and third down at 47.5%. That's great. They're converting. Almost the best with when you think about fourth down, they're at 53.8. Their best was 58.3%. And then their second best was 55.6. That was 2014 and 2019. But they're trending in the right direction. They had 2 bad years in 18 and 17. And then ever since then, I mean, if you can tell me, most teams would kill for this type of, or they would love for this to have this type of record. 6-10. I mean, you're rebuilding. You don't have necessarily all the pieces that you want. But to say a coach came in 17 and 2 years later they lost only 3 games, 13-3, Super Bowl. They're headed in the right direction.
And I figured that. So, like, Kyle Shanahan, privileged Shanahan family has been around the 49 organizations. So you get the what I call, like, the more opportunities, the more leniency, the more, okay, we're going to let you slide, but we're not going to last for this long. So Chip Kelly was in and out quickly at the 2-14 record. Jim Tom Sula took the job over Jim Harbaugh. I feel like Raw thought he was more of a replacement. Like, hey, we're going to use you for now until we find who we need. And then we realized that Kyle Shanahan was with the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to bring him over. So that's one thing. Then we have, I'm going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. Raw thoughts.
Now, I got one thing for you, though.
Go ahead.
My fault, Prime. Going back to that last graphic there, the Niners after a Super Bowl run. Now, I need to see another time that they had a Super Bowl. They were in the Super Bowl, but they didn't do well the year after. All right. So the win or lose, what team are we going to get next year? Are we going to get a highly motivated team, or we're going to get a team that everybody's trying to knock off or trying to prove that they're better, and they end up flopping and having a below subpar year?
I think right now it's winning now because Raw thoughts, the 49ers, their window is closing. And I'm a diehard 49ers fan, as you can see behind me. I feel like their window is closing because simple fact, like, you can't pay all these players. And not only that, these players are getting older. And not only that, these players don't stay healthy. So at the rare moment, tonight or Sunday night is the perfect reason why the 49ers should win, because everything is perfect. You have all the weapons. This is what they made all these moves for, from making money from Deebo Samuel, putting him on because he was holding out, to George Kittle, to your guy from a Panthers fan, even though I'm from North Carolina myself, Christian McCaffrey making that move, to bringing in a cheap Chase Young, who hasn't really done anything since the first 2 games as he's been at the 49ers. So to Brock Purdy get in position as Mr. Irrelevant, to where, like, all the quarterbacks he had from Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey Lance not really fitting the mold, to shock them. Jay York said that during last year when it was going on, he said he thinks Kyle Shanahan went directly to Jay York, the CEO, although his mom, Jay York's mom, is really the owner of the 49ers. He says that, I think my 3rd string quarterback is the best quarterback on the roster. So when Jay York hears that, he's like, what you mean the 3rd string quarterback is the best quarterback on the roster? So it hit John Lynch shockingly. Excuse me, I had a brought those. And it hit Jay York wrong. So now you have that. I'm saying right now, everything that's in place, everything that's happened, everything that's going on right there with San Francisco 49ers, this is the perfect opportunity to win a Super Bowl, because you don't, like you said earlier, you don't know what's going to happen. I sure don't know what's going to happen. We can't say what's going to happen, and we can't pull this Jim Harbaugh era when Jim Harbaugh went the first year and Kyle Williams fumbled the ball. Jim Harbaugh went the next year. He made a comeback in Atlanta, won to get to the Super Bowl, but we lost the Super Bowl. Go back next year, Seattle, tip pass from Richard Sherman, gets to the Super Bowl. Now they're out. Then we go through this saga of 2014, 15, and 16. 2014, 15, 16, 17. All of them situations didn't lead. All right, so the 14, 8-8, they didn't make the playoffs, even though it's 8-8. So 15 definitely didn't make the playoffs. 2017 definitely didn't make playoffs. 2018 definitely didn't make the playoffs. 2019 is when they got back there 13-3 because they was able to make moves and make changes to get them there. So when I say that, I'm saying like, okay, that's cool, that's great. But you have to make moves in that right direction. And the 49ers are in the perfect position right now. The moves they made from Chris McCaffrey to bring in Chase Young, Brock Purdy is playing amazing. Deebo Samuel to negotiate a contract with George Kittle, who years before had that. This whole team is right now is in win now mode. I can't speak upon Coach J if they win next year, the week after, or the year after, because we don't know if they're going to have these same players. And the way they play football now, Deebo Samuel plays a physical style. We don't know if he'll stay healthy. He can't even stay healthy the entire year. And I love Deebo because Deebo is my number one guy. But we know at the end of the day, his style, percentage-wise, can cause him to have injury. George Kittle, luckily for Kyle Shanahan's offense, doesn't rely on him to be in reverses, to be a guy who needs the ball 24/7 because he can make block. So that's what you got there. So, like, when you brought that position up, this is pretty much win now mode, and I ain't want to break it down that long, but that's what I got. Go ahead, Coach J. The floor is yours.
Hey, I'm with it, man. Tomorrow isn't promised. We don't know what we're gonna get out of Chris McCaffrey going forward. I mean, he's been a beast now, but he's an older back, had a serious injury. And you never know the shelf life of those guys after they have those injuries on the lower body. We've seen it with just think about Le'Veon Bell, right? A guy with Pittsburgh demanded so much money, right? He was one of the top backs in the league, man.
Right.
Yeah, it was one of the best backs in the league. Took a year off, and then he basically came back, and it was almost like you didn't know who he was. He was like a shell of himself. So,
and this thing,
you can be great this year and be different next year.
Like Colin Coward was
Peyton Hillis.
That's one of the situations like his situation was like that. And I feel bad for him. You know, we just don't know what's gonna happen, but we have to make sure we get the raw thoughts out on everything. So Chris McCaffrey family originated. That Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, Chris McCaffrey, Ed McCaffrey played for the 49ers for like 3 or 4 years when they won the Super Bowls. Then he ended up going to the Broncos. He won one or two Super Bowls on one thing. So he has 3, he won 1 the last year with the 49ers. I think it was like 89. Then you had Mike Shanahan take over. He wins 1, he wins 2 with them. Then now you have a situation where like, can he win more? Then you have the legacy of the 49ers. So Chris McCaffrey could possibly win 1 and bring another one to his family. And then you have that situation. Defensively, the 49ers changed so much on defensive schemes, schematics, stuff like that. It doesn't matter. So, all right, we're going to go to Kansas City right now before we get out of the way. All right, so Kansas City, 2014, 9-7, 11-5. Because, by the way, while we edit, Alex Smith was there when they were 9-7, 11-5, 12-4, 10-6, 12-4. This winning record is by far, the numbers are amazing. And Andy Reid was the guy who came in when the Eagles got rid of him, and he brought his philosophy, his system in. Alex Smith was a game. When I say game manager, I guess it's now listening to everybody this week about game manager. I don't even know what
he was a game manager.
Predicate about game manager, but he was definitely one. And then you bring in a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who sat behind him the entire year, Coach J. It comes back. He gets in after sitting behind the whole year, learning. Outside of Aaron Rodgers, sitting behind Brett Favre. Outside of Jordan Love sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for so long. This guy sits behind a veteran quarterback for a year and comes in AFC Championship, Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. I might have it wrong, but it's pretty much that resume. and to still pick up where it's at. So, like, give me your raw thoughts of this.
Oh man, the Kansas City Chiefs at 11-6 in the Super Bowl. Defense. The Kansas City defense got them here, and Mahomes. I mean, of course, we know
This
Mahomes
year,
are going
not
to be
other
Mahomes.
years, but this year.
Yes, this year it was the defense. Now, before this year, they had a taking the top off type of offensive playmakers. Tyreek Hill, Hartman is back. However, they had other guys, that would threaten the defense vertically. They don't have that. They have the speed right now, but they just don't have the guys that have that route running ability to take the top off defense instead of threaten for you to stay in two highs and stay and play some type of umbrella coverage. Right now, and honestly, just thinking about it, this is the way you win in the NFL in the playoffs through defense, establishing a run, and having a quarterback that can make every throw. You don't necessarily need the top tier receivers, but you need guys who can get open, who can recognize and break off routes and come back to the ball, scramble drill. And who's a great scrambler? Mahomes. His receivers, they can track and trace, and they're great at rerouting and coming back to the ball. But listen, looking at the records and looking at prior years, based off the numbers, we should say San Francisco should win this one easily, right? However, I think it's going to be a different story. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs defense is ready to come out and prove that they can match up, with those receivers on the other side of the ball. And I listen, I'm not going to give my prediction here, but based off these records here, Kansas City, they're going in the right direction. This was the year they shouldn't have been in the Super Bowl. It should have been there was a few teams in AFC that should have took them down, but their defense really showed out, and the receivers got it done when they needed them most.
That's Steve Spagnuolo defense. It does it well. And I agree, man. Like it's a tough situation, but we're gonna leave our raw thoughts for the end of the show. Your raw thoughts. Can Kyle rewrite history? Sponsored by Freedom and Faith Agency. Can Kyle rewrite history? He's tapping Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy on the back, and you see the legacy, father son talking to each other. So, because he had some situations where he couldn't close. Can he close this season? And I understand. I'm saying if they up, this is where I'm going at, Coach Jay. If they're up by 2 touchdowns, can Kyle close? Now, if it's a close game, is different. But right now, at the moment, can he close out this game if they up by 2 touchdowns? 4 minutes left in the game.
I think he can. I think he can because he has the personnel, he has the quarterback. They just have to limit their mistakes. However, don't forget you're going against a great defense over there, But I think personnel wise, I think that they can do it. They have the guys. I think that Brock Purdy, of course, we already talked about he can make every single throw on the field. He's a great game manager, and he's also elite. He's elite talent. He has elite talent. Just seeing how he can move in the pocket, just seeing how accurate he is as a passer. He has every single type of the ball. He can float it up. He can start it. And he can throw guys open. And that's what you need from a quarterback. I think they can do it.
So raw thoughts with me, he need to do it. He better do it because, again, I go back to the conversation we talked about earlier. You got Christian McCaffrey as your running back who can do all things. His daddy was a receiver, but he can do all things for a wide receiver all day. If you can't close with the best running back in football, offensive player of the year at the moment, we got a problem. And that's why I go at on my end, but I ain't gonna get into that right now. But that's my raw thoughts. Now we had a Super Bowl, baby. We have purple and gold. Ain't no purple involved in it at all. It's all red. It's all gold. It's all white. That's what we have. So I guess this is your raw thoughts moment, if I want to say. Your raw thoughts Super Bowl moment.
You know, I was pondering about this. I actually had somebody ask me about this game today. You know, I had somebody ask me about this game today, and you know,
we want to get all those raw thoughts too. Tell us about that.
Surprisingly, you know, I had a question to come up. Hey, you know, what do you think about this game here? Who do you think? Who do you have? Right. Well, my answer was I got the Chiefs.
I got somebody to send in
Prime.
a second. Finish up what you're doing. I'm going to send something very interesting to you. That is what sports reporters say. I just found this out right then. So I'm going to put this up really, really quickly. But go ahead, finish everything, your details and stuff. What you got to say.
Got you, Prime. Listen, I know I'm probably going against the majority of the favorites out there. San Francisco is loaded, right? However, I think that Kansas City Chiefs defense, right? They're going to show up and show out. And you've got the best quarterback in the league. I don't care who he has as targets. Those guys, one game and they can win it all. I think they're going to get it done. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a 4-quarter game. It's going to come down to who has the ball last. And I think it's going to be Patrick Mahomes driving down the field for possibly a game-winning field goal.
Hold on a second. Keep going.
My
Talk about anything else you want to hear, because I want to make sure I get my post up real quick. Okay. All right.
Okay.
This is very, very like
just to piggyback off that. I one of my prediction is I predict Kelsey is going to have over 100 yards.
Ooh. Oh, say it one more time. Say that one more time.
I'm gonna say it for the people in the back of the room over there.
Listen, okay.
Kelsey is having 100 yards at least. Shoot,
that's a lot.
Hey, listen. It's a lot. He might have it by halftime, but hey, we ain't gonna make that prediction.
I'm gonna say this snippet and this clip for my snippet on Instagram. Woo! He said it might be a lot. Okay.
Workhorse. He gonna be
trying to
workhorse.
figure out how to put this up. All right, so I'm trying to figure out something. So, and I apologize about it. That was big, there, man. That was
Send it to me, Prime.
I'm trying to send it out myself. Trying to make sure I got it correct. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. I hit the button. I don't know if that's it. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna try it again. So no, that was very interesting to hear you.
Yeah, man. Look, Kittle's gonna have a field day, and you just think about the 49ers defense throughout this year, and I'm intrigued to see their defensive ratings and defensive rankings.
That's right.
You know, looking at the entire season. All right. And just think about the entire season now. All right. Let's take a look.
Send it to you now.
Okay.
It's raw thoughts, raw mind, raw thoughts. My apologies. I was trying to do something.
'49ers giving up 303 yards per game. Okay, that's not too bad. They've given up 31 touchdowns, 6 playoff touchdowns. Okay.
So that's what I was thinking about. So I saw something very ironic on my post. The legacy, the brand, and that's what makes it make sense, I guess. I sent some to your email, so you'll see it and you'll be able to post it. But I have nothing against that. So what you're saying, so we'll better see. Raw mind, raw thoughts. We make it happen here. Like we keep it real. And I don't know if Jay got it. He may got it. He'll let me know. You got it? Did you catch it?
Let me see. I got it.
Oh, you got it. It's good to go. All right. So I want to put this up because things happen. It's just like wrestling and everything else. It's like the line, the bloodline, what you do, how it happens. It all matters because once he put it up, I'm going to give you some raw thoughts for the people world. Like, we have a lot of things that happen in San Francisco. So I'm going to name some stuff off my head that happened, and we could go from there. So and Coach Jay got us right now, man. So by the way,
when you
Essential Collection by Mono Chris. Essential Collection by Mono Chris. Use promo code Raw Mind. Use promo code Raw Mind. Get a 15% discount on all products, from bar soap to body wash to facials to cream, Superman cream, Dark Knight cream. To as a man, she has beard balm that helps with your beard. You know, you guys who want to have your
think you went out there, Prime.
Minds for Raw Mind, get a 15% discount. I know. Hold on a second. That's what Dak Prescott would say. Here we go. But hey, here we are. You know, so Coach Jay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I got you good to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you know, like she has bar soap, cream soap, Dark Knight, codes to where help you children. So use the promo code Raw Mind, promo code Raw Mind, and her website is www.ENTUALSCOLLECTION.square.site. And trust me, it's more than worth it. So, you know, we got Coach Jay over here working the magic to what we trying to do. But we already know how that goes. And I would like for him to speak his piece.
I got you.
Get to the raw thoughts.
I'm loading it up right now.
And you know, like it's things to that. That's why we're, you know, making it happen. Oh yeah, he made it quickly possible. So look, for the world, man. This is it's crazy, right? Mike Shanahan, Ed McCaffrey, Brian Greasy, Anthony Lynn. Mike Shanahan is to Kyle Shanahan. Ed McCaffrey is a Christian McCaffrey. Brian Greasy is the quarterback coach for the San Francisco 49ers, and he's down below. And Anthony Lynn ran the ball for the Denver Broncos to where he is the running backs coach. And also if Kyle Shanahan was to something happen to him, he'll be the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. Isn't that intriguing for you, Coach Jay? The family trees, and when people say ties, networking matters in life, jobs, or whatever, this is the perfect situation to say, hey, I got a job because this is this. People don't understand like how perfect that stuff works. But go ahead, Coach Jay.
Yeah. Hey, look, family tree. I mean, you know, you got some elite guys here. Definitely elite guys here at the top. Ed McCaffrey, Brian Greasy, Anthony Lynn, Mike Shanahan. I mean, it don't get no better than Mike Shanahan. You just look at his coaching tree and the guys that he's developed. And just thinking about, he has a son that's one of the top coaches in the league right now. He's going to get a huge payday. I think he should get even more right now. You just look at the record since they've been there. It's only 2 seasons. That was the first 2 seasons.
Do you think he'd be better than Bill Belichick or Bill Walsh? because Bill Belichick won
man.
6 championships in New England.
He's
He
got to
hasn't
have.
had a championship yet, but do you think he can possibly break that record with the family tree and the pedigree it is?
But in order for him to do that, he needs to have more guys, more younger guys that come in, right? McCaffrey's not going to be there that long, right? And some of those other guys are not going to be that long. So they would have to continue to build.
Age don't matter with coaching, as long as you ain't 90 or 100 years old. Go ahead.
As a coach, yeah, I think he should have the leeway to be there as long as he wants to. But the thing is, will he have the personnel every year? You just look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Right. I mean, you got the best quarterback in the league, and you mean to tell me somewhere in the front office nobody sit back saying, hey, maybe we give him some more receivers. They're like,
right.
Send him out. No, we good. Send him out too. Nope, we good. Send him out.
Right.
Nah, let him go. Oh, let him go too. What? But hey.
And I agree. For me, like, you know, like the family tree, everything is going on. Like, I get it. Like, it's real. Because, like, Kyle Shanahan has been put in position to be successful. His daddy is still there handling the office situations. But I say raw thoughts. I don't think everybody could be a head coach. I think Kyle Shanahan has it. I think Brian Griese is good as a QB coach. I think Christian McCaffrey skill set and his ability to know what his daddy did over years to help him be where he's at today. Anthony Lynn, he was there in the LA Chargers. I don't know. Head coaching is for everyone. So, like, I think this group, this dynasty can be like well without being head coaches. I can see a lot. And I'm going to tell you now, raw mind, raw thoughts. This is not Raheem Mostert. This is not the situation in Atlanta. I'm going to tell you now, out of everybody else, raw thoughts. If it comes down to a running game, I really think that Kyle Shanahan is going to run the ball with Christian McCaffrey from a family inheritance and to the fact that Christian McCaffrey is better than Freeman. I forgot my other guy name because he's a running back now. He was a running back with the 49ers, Freeman, and I forgot a guy. So anyway, I feel like San Francisco 49ers will run the football this game if needed, like Terrell Davis, if needed, for the Denver Broncos with Mike Shanahan. Christian McCaffrey gives you so many elements from passing to catching. He does a lot. I know he has a lot of experience with the NFL because of his dad was an NFL guy, and he caught the ball. This is the year the 49ers should possibly get number 6. Brian Griese dealing with Brock Purdy is very unique because Brock Purdy could be that guy like Tom Brady who was drafted super late. You didn't know you had a gem in the ruck. That's what it was. And Anthony Lynn, he's not an offensive guru. He's not a guy that you say, hey, I want to get this play from him. He's not. But he understands personnel. And even if he got a head coaching job, raw thoughts, like Kyle Shanahan is in lucky's position. He called plays. He's an offensive coordinator. The guys we got to hear, Brian Griese and Anthony Lynn, are not offensive coordinators. They could be like Mike Tomlin, be leaders of a team. You got to bring in a guy who can call plays and hope they call the right plays. Kyle Shanahan is in a position to where he can call plays and make it happen. And his daddy did it. He did it in Washington. He did it in Denver. He's lucky to be around a great organization, GM, who can make plays like John Lynch to bring in people who make sense for it. So that's my raw thoughts. Because like Jay, you was like, let me get in. Let me take the mic. Let me take the mic. So here you go.
Nah, it's all good, Prime. Man, look, there's nothing better than to be a father and have your son follow your footsteps and not just do it, but be successful. You know, be successful, do it at a high level, and be able to do it the same way that you did as a father. You know what I mean? Be a head coach and a play caller. That's really tough. You think about responsibilities as a head coach. You over everything. And when you think about being a play caller, now you're offensive coordinator. Now you're installing offense. You're coordinating. You're calling plays, and you're a head coach. So that means during the game, you're listening to both sides. I mean, you're listening possibly all three: offense, defense, special teams. I mean, and then also I'm sure he has a lot of responsibility in that staff. So that's a big role and some huge shoes he's filling, and he done it well.
And no doubt. So that being said, I want to make sure I ain't 1, 2. What are your raw thoughts moment? I'll put this on the screen for this Super Bowl.
How many drops will the Kansas City Chiefs have? Will the receivers show up? That's the big question this whole year. If those receivers show up and we can get one guy outside of Kelsey over 100 yards, right? With Kelsey having over 100 yards, they're going to have a field day, right? Now, if Drop City shows up and Kelsey has 100 and some yards, it could be a tough one. But hey, that's my raw thoughts. What will we see from these Kansas City receivers? I hope we see what we saw versus Baltimore. And there was a tough catch down the field by one of the receivers. I forgot who it was, but tough catch, falling down the field. I think it was like on the third down. It was putting icing on the cake. And tough gravity made it. So I like to see those receivers continue to do what they did in that game.
So for me, raw thoughts. Like the receivers got to make it happen. They've been doing some things that haven't been successful all season, but they found a way to have magic on their hands, Superman, like during the playoffs. My thing is, if it comes down to a running game, Christian McCaffrey versus Pacheco, it's 99 Irene. So if you're expecting a running game out of this Super Bowl, and you're expecting that it's going to come down to Pacheco running the clock out, it's not going to happen. It's going to come down to Christian McCaffrey, the veteran, a Carolina Panthers fan, to send it off. Like I think the Carolina Panthers have given away a lot recently, and Chase Young. So it comes down to that. If the 49ers go up by 2 touchdowns, this game is over. Because the 49ers are very, very good at playing the role of not letting you come back. And that's where the blitz come in. That's when the linebackers like Fred Warner, the defensive guys like Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Javon Kinlaw, Greenlaw comes into play. I'm just naming the star guys. I'm not naming nobody else. So if it goes up by 2 touchdowns, go ahead, Coach Jay.
So what you trying to say about Pacheco?
Pacheco is good.
What you trying to say?
But
my God, 216 pounds.
So for me, raw thoughts, they ain't gonna matter. Patrick Mahomes' arm is gonna matter with this team. This team don't have no Tyreek Hill. This team doesn't have elite receivers. Definitely it has McCole Harding, who came back, but it doesn't have like the guys who say, "Hey, when you go to the draft board or you go to the film room, it doesn't show like, oh my God, this guy can get 150 yards tonight." So if that happens, it comes off of the principle of it doesn't show on camera 150 yards. But I'm gonna tell you what the Kansas City Chiefs gonna show. I'm telling you that now. Reason why I'm telling you this now, because I want you to see this in the game. I can see them doing trickery, misdirection, reverses. I don't know who gonna get the ball, but I can see a lot of that happening in this game. The trick, the trick to San Francisco 49ers defense and forcing a guy like Brock Purdy to beat them. But I think also that was from Kansas City end. But for my end, raw thoughts, I think that the 49ers are going to run the ball, do as much as possible to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field and make him win the game. kind of like what Tom Brady did when he was in the Super Bowl. Their defense, I'm gonna tell you honestly, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense when they beat Kansas City Chiefs, they played a bend don't break. 4 down linemen, 7 guys back, making sure the pass don't come. That's the perfect way to beat Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that they're gonna do it, but if you got 4 guys who can get out the quarterback, Nick Bosa, Air Onset, Javon Kinlaw, and Chase Young, let those guys get out there, send all 7 back in pass protection, it changes the whole game. You don't need to do no disguise coverages. You don't need to run a crazy all-out blitz. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers did that. They only rushed 4, and they let the other 7 get back. They end up winning 31-9. That's a possibility. And the crazy part is they had more weapons then. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs only have Kelsey, Pacheco, McCole Hardman is not what it is, and we already know yourself. They dropped a lot of passes, but there we go. Your turn.
Man, Prime. I'm gonna go down memory lane a little bit, right? January 28th. Tell me who this guy is. 24 carries, 68 yards. January 21st.
What year?
Oh, no. I ain't going to say the year yet. I want you to hear it first, though. 15 carries, 97 yards, 1 touch. All right. January 28th, he had a touchdown too, right? January 13th, okay? 24 carries, 89 yards. 24 carries. Ooh, right? December 31st, 18 carries, 130 yards. December 3rd, 18 carries, 110 yards. Touchdown before that, all right? Raiders, 15 carries, 2 tutties. All right? November 20th versus the Eagles. Style defense. 19 carries, 89 yards, okay? All right, let's go back. October 1st, 20 carries, 115 yards. Whoever this guy is, he carrying a rock, right?
That's Pacheco. I already knew that when she said a few things. I already knew that. So that's what Pacheco. But the guys you named,
he can do it.
You named the defense against. So I'm asking you as what Colin Cowell would say. The defense he was against. So
I'll tell you.
Name the guys you named.
Ravens.
Defense. Do you think Ravens?
Ravens. 68 yards against the Ravens. 97
How many yards? How many yards? Say it one more time.
68 against the Ravens. Ooh.
That's like below average.
And
all right, so the 49ers have a better defense than everybody you just named. So do you think that Pacheco can have? Because it sounds like to me the way you talking like it's easy, like 200 yards against San Francisco.
Oh no, they ain't getting 200. Oh no. Prime. No. Now listen, I could easily see him having somewhere around the 80s, and that's what he needs. You think about this, right? He don't need to be a guy who come in and have 200 yards or 150 or 130 to be that. He needs
I got a raw
about 80.
question after that. Whenever you finish talking.
Go ahead.
Steve Wilks, Christian McCaffrey came from Carolina Panthers. Steve Wilks came from Charlotte, North Carolina. Do you think Steve Wilks can develop something? You as a Panthers fan can find a way to make sure Kansas City Chiefs don't do anything. Does he have enough to dial up the play, the film, and all that stuff to stop them?
Yeah, they've got the guys. I mean, it's not. Kansas City doesn't have a whole bunch of dudes. Now, here's the thing about Kansas City that makes them different. They're the best quarterback in the league, one of the best tight ends in the league, and one of the offensive coordinators that can out-scheme everybody. When they win games, it's because they out-scheme. They get guys open. You see receivers open for a reason. They scheme that. They see it, and they install the right play at the right time.
And that's what it is. Raw mind, raw thoughts. So my prediction, score. I don't know if you want to go score. I'm going to go as win.
I'll go with it.
So who wins this Super Bowl?
27-24. I've got KC.
God almighty. I got 28-14 Kansas City. 28-14 Kansas City. 28-14 Kansas City. Now, excuse me.
Oh,
Let me take that back. Raw mind. Raw mind.
Record that.
No.
Clip that.
28-14 San Francisco. 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 Get ready. And it may be if it comes down to a field goal, I'm scared to death. Because Jay Moody ain't Robbie Gould. And I've seen what he's done. 28-14 San Francisco. But if a field goal comes into play, it could be 31-14 San Francisco. I know everybody look at me like I'm just absolutely insane. I'm gonna look at the comments real quick. Oh, that's you. Make sure. Oh, no. 31-14 a field goal, but you got it right. All right. You did correctly. You did correctly. You did it correctly. 28-14 is my point. I feel like the 49ers will go up 2 touchdowns because I'm going to tell you why. I think the 49ers will run the ball to get them up. And I think that Kansas City may have a turnover here and there. The 49ers defense ain't like Baltimore, but I feel like they know the mission. I feel like they know that Travis Kelce's their number one target. I feel like Steve Wilson will find a way to stop him. But it's the part. Those role players and the accuracy of Patrick Mahomes could lead them to have others open, if that makes sense. So those are my raw mind. Those are my raw thoughts.
I've got a special guest that want to. Never mind. She jetted out.
All right, so we out of here, man. It's been an hour.
We've got a special guest on the sideline.
And that's my. I say San Francisco. Okay. I like it. All right, go ahead. Say your raw thoughts.
I think we were supposed to have a special guest today. Speaking a little bit about insurance. We still got online?
We are.
No raw thoughts today. My raw thoughts was basically on KC. Will the receivers do what they supposed to? I'm excited to see that. I just really hope they do. I mean, especially with my pick.
All right, he's on his own. Here we go. Test.
Oh yeah, mic check. I can hear you, big dog. Loud and clear.
Test. All right, that's it. That's all we got to show. Can't wait to talk to you, Coach Jay. After the game, we're gonna do a post game if I'm available. But no worries, we'll try to do a post game first thing Monday because everybody and mamas from schools to the public are absolutely off Super Bowl Sunday. So let's make it. Let's go to work. Coach Jay, what you want to say before we get off?
KC. Let's bring some more receivers in next year, all right? Now,
Are you a Panthers fan, or it sound like you're a Panthers? Sound like you're a KC fan, or more so of a Panthers fan?
Well, we struggling with the same thing, right? Organizationally wise, we let go our best receiver, and then we don't fill the void, right? How dare we do that with KC? How dare you let go of those guys? I mean, Tyreek Hill. You won't get that type of athlete back, and with the Carolina Panthers, I just hope we can rebuild and we can get this thing back next year. You know, I'm rooting for those guys and got a new coach. You know, I'm just hoping that they can really build and bring in more talent. I think the quarterback there is that guy. You know, but yeah, I just really hope that they can build and have some more depth for next year.
No doubt, no doubt. With that being said, that's all we got. Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe we'll do a pregame. Me and Coach Jay will do a pregame before the Super Bowl. Maybe we have different options and views, but we'll figure it out way before the Super Bowl. With that being said, Raw Mind, Raw Thoughts is out.